What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Red and Gold Standard Podcast. My name is Zach Hernandez, and tonight I am thrilled to be joined by Mike Andrews of Nothing But Niners. Mike, happy Easter. Thank you for joining me. How you doing this evening?
I am great, man. Happy Easter to you and everybody out there who celebrates, man. Happy holidays to everyone out there, man.
That's right. Guys, if you're watching on Twitter, head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/49ers Hive. Join there so we can actually see and interact with your thoughts. If you're commenting on the Twitter stream, we're not ignoring you. I promise we just cannot see your comments the way Twitter has their streaming set up. So again, youtube.com/49ers Hive. It is on the bottom of the screen. Join there. While you're there, hit like, hit subscribe, help the channel out. We got a fun, lighthearted type show planned for you guys. I don't know. The title kind of made me laugh chuckling about that, but we're going to have some fun. It's a holiday, like Mike said. So we'll just hang out with you guys this Sunday evening. Mike, we're going to get right into this whole Deebo Samuel mess. The 49ers star wide receiver obviously is in the middle of a contract negotiation with the team. And the fans have went from completely standing for him and supporting him this season to now the same fans are threatening his life, calling him racial slurs, all based off of the appearance of him acting like a diva. I don't really know how to explain this. It's kind of weird to me. What's your take on it?
All right. So let me start by saying I am completely against death threats, calling people out of their names, racial slurs, and all that stuff. Anything that I'm saying is not justifying it at all. Those people are disgusting. They should be blocked on all social media platforms, so on and so forth. So let me get that out of the way. All right. However, on the flip side, I understand fans being mad with Deebo. I completely get it. And to be honest, he brought it on himself. When it all comes down to it, yes, it is contract negotiations, but it's the way that they're doing it. It's this public thing where you have players using their social media platforms trying to turn the fans against the team. We've seen it with Kyler Murray. We've seen it with Aaron Rodgers. Now we're seeing it with Deebo. This is apparently like a new thing. Like this is the way that agents are suggesting that these players negotiate now. And you know, Deebo isn't Aaron Rodgers. He's not Kyler Murray even. But even Kyler Murray was getting like people saying, well, then leave. We don't want you then. You know what I'm saying? So what do you expect from a wide receiver? You know what I'm saying? This guy is dependent on the other 10 players on the field to do their jobs well in order for him to be successful, right? Where you can't go around doing what he's been doing in the public eye. You just can't. And then expect people to be like, yeah, pay Deebo anything. Like they were cool when you weren't saying much. But then when you started posting too much stuff and people calling you out on it, then it's like, no, this is what you're doing. Now you're putting this wall up between the 49ers and yourself. And there's three different things that can happen. I mean, there's three audiences that control the narrative. It's the player and his team. It's the 49ers front office. And it's the faithful. It's the fans. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure we'll get into it more. I don't want to do all the talking here, but we can dive into this thing, man. I'm so mad. I have my Patreon page. I did an entire hour show on this, and the audio didn't work at all. The whole hour was there. I'm in the car. I got the music playing. I'm smoking my cigar. I recorded this thing at like 2 a.m. My wife called looking for me because she was asleep. I went out to the garage. To the car. I'm recording, and she's calling me in the middle of the show. Like she woke up, like, where are you? What are you doing? I'm in the middle of recording. So I keep ignoring her messages, texting her and everything. So I got a lot to get off of my chest with this. It depends on how deep you want to go into this. You let me know. And the clip is loaded. I'm ready to shoot. Like, so, because he didn't bring the death threats on himself, but he has turned the anger from the fan base on himself.
Yeah, I hear you. It's a very kind of new situation that these players entering contract negotiations find themselves in. It's almost like because one has done these type of antics where they delete all traces of the team, they feel like they all need to do it moving forward. And I'm all for players getting every penny they're owed from these giant corporations. Don't get me wrong, but there's a way to go about it. And I think you worded it perfectly, is that do you turn your own fan base against the team that they're rooting for because they want you to also get yours? Before I'm going to turn it back over to you, I have the clip here. And this is a courtesy of RSF Niners. He kind of took a screen grab of the story from Instagram. So I'm going to share this real quick. And that way the viewers, if you guys haven't seen it already, you can get an idea of what is being said. So I'm going to play it. Oh, let me change this real quick. Here we go.
Hey, for all y'all fans that's in the DMs and death threats and racial stuff, like, that don't bother me, bro. It don't. Cause y'all the same ones that was just hoorahing and go Deebo and da da da. Oh, now y'all want to send death threats and send all these racial, all this stuff y'all got. It don't bother me, bro. I'm cool. I'm chilling. I'm happy. Hey.
So, pretty wild.
Again, I'm going to say it again because people are still joining. I am not condoning the actions of those people he is directly talking about. And it's weird because players don't respond to people in the DMs, they still have a trail of all the DMs. So, oh, you had a great game. Oh, you had a great game. Yo, F you, you should die. Like, he can see that stuff. So that's what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? But here we go, man. Here's the other thing, right? He is bothered. He's sitting here saying it don't bother me. Wrong. Stuff that doesn't bother you, you don't address. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Zach, you and I, we do these shows all the time. There are people in the comments that hate us. There are people in the comments who love us. And you guys post every single one. When I'm doing the show, I'm in my groove, I'm in my vibe. I see some of the stuff. I don't see it all, but I see some of it. But it doesn't bother me until you get like extremely disrespectful, like what he's talking about, right? The death threats and the racial slurs. I'll make a comment like, hey, our what are they called? The people in the chat that have control, the moderators. Yeah, I'm like, hey, get this guy out of here. Yeah. I've probably had to say that 5 times in the 5 years we've been doing Nothing But Niners. So I don't see it all, right? But once you cross the line, it does bother you. Yeah. Deebo doesn't have to lie and say he doesn't, because you should be bothered by what it's okay. It's not a sign of weakness. True. It's not a sign of it's not a test of your masculinity. Oh, I'm tough. That shit don't bother me. You're making a post about it. It does bother you, and that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. And the fact that I'm going to get to these super chats right now. Thank you both very much. The fact that he acknowledges it, I think, is enough to show that it does bother him. And again, racial slurs, death threats, people switching up on you 100% from just a couple of months ago. That is okay to be bothered by. It's like some men, maybe I should make it a man thing. Some people feel like it almost like a sign of weakness to being allowed to be bothered by some things. Nah, some stuff you'd be like, nah, that's too far, bro. Like, you got to chill with that. I'm not with that. You're taking it way too far. Super chat from our guy Collie. Mike almost had me break my iPhone. No audio. Happy Easter, my guys.
My bad, bro. My bad. Yo, he should have seen me. Like, I tried to download it and see if it was like a separate track or something. Like, I was going crazy. I'm like, I can at least make it a podcast or something. Like, I was trying, bro. I'm so sorry, Callie, man. My bad. I'm glad you didn't break it, though. My apologies.
And then Sean, hey, guys, Deebo's a great player. Sorry he is not emotionally mature. This has been like watching a 10-year-old negotiate. Where has he been? Didn't realize how fans would react. I hope he stays.
And see, that's the kind of stuff I want to address if you allow me the time. So if we start going too long, let me know. Okay. I'm going to compare this situation to a couple of other players in 49ers history and then in the NFL. Okay. You can't go around acting like you want out of San Francisco during contract negotiations and expect the fans to still rally behind you. So it's one thing to be in the middle of negotiations and say, oh, I want to get this money. Cool. And like you said, I think players should get every dime they could possibly get. Hold it. I think what Deshaun Watson did was genius. A fully guaranteed contract. I want more of that in football. Before people, only 40% of his contract is guaranteed. Enough of that. These guys are putting their lives, their livelihood on the line every single time, not just in a game, in practice. Even in practice, these guys are risking it all. So I say pay these guys. I'm all for that. If the salary cap didn't exist, give them $40 million if the team could afford it. I don't care. That's not what this is about. As long as you're posting, oh, I'm getting this money, or y'all see my work, whatever, the fans are going to rally behind you. They're going to tag John Lynch. Hey, pay this man. Hey, we want this guy. Okay. What you can't do is as soon as Mike McDaniel gets hired over in Miami, post videos of you two at lunch. You can't do that. That's new to me. I just saw this video like 2 or 3 days ago. And that, I'm going to be honest with you, piled on with all the other stuff, it pissed me off. You can't go around putting the eyes underneath the jersey swap photo. You can't post on your social media, hey, I'm looking for realtors in Miami. Get at me. Bro, come on. You have an agent. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to post it. You know what you're doing. You're making it look like you want out. And if that's the case, the fans are going to be like, well, then you don't mess with us. We're not messing with you. I'm trying not to curse on your platform. You don't F with us. We're not effing with you. So be gone. That's the logical explanation and reaction that fans have, unless you're Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, because you got 9,000 people who own 0.5% of a share of that team. They feel like that's their team, right? Yeah. Their voices are a little bit louder than the 49ers fan base. Those people can say, hey, we insist on bringing this guy back if we can, right? Aaron Rodgers, multiple MVPs, Super Bowl champion. His resume completely dims out anything Deebo Samuel has done to this point in the NFL. So first, understand the tier of where you are in the pecking order, okay? Then after that, you got to realize something. They don't have much else to cheer for over there in Wisconsin. I'm sorry, they don't. San Francisco, it's a bit different. There's a lot of good franchises in that city, in that state, So you can't do that. You're not the same player. You're not the same caliber, and this is not the same kind of fan base. You turn on us, we're going to turn on you. You ride with us, we'll ride with you, okay? You look at Frank Gore, right? Everyone wanted Frank Gore to come back, right? The team, they wanted Frank Gore to be extended. I'm talking years ago when he first went to Eagles. No, never mind. I'm changing my mind. I'm going to the Colts. Like way back then, his first team, non-49ers, everybody wanted him to come back, right? But Frank Gore said nothing but, hey, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. He's always been positive about his departure and his negotiations from the 49ers. And you know what that did? That brought equity with the fans. In addition to your career, in addition to what you've done, we still F with you, Frank, because you still F with us. Deebo's not doing that. Deebo's making it look like, I'd rather be in Miami. If that's what you're going to do, then what do you expect the fans to say? No, pay him and keep him here, outbid Miami? No, we want you to want to be a part of us. Yeah. This is why we do it right here. We're not doing this because of Deebo. We don't buy Deebo Samuel well, some people do. No offense to anybody out there that did that. My apologies. But you guys know what I'm saying. You guys know what I mean. We're here because we support the 49ers. And once you're gone, you're gone. When you're here, you're here. But you can leave and still be getting love from the fan base. You understand what I'm saying? Like he's doing it all wrong. He brought the hate, not the death threats, not the racial slurs, but people turning their backs on him now. He brought this to himself.
Yeah. I mean, I think Matt says consistently on this channel is that, we're fans of the front of the jersey, not the back. That's what matters the most. The logo on your sweater right now, yes, the 49ers logo. And if you're not a part of building that and moving that forward, well, it was nice having you, and hopefully you can go to another team. And I agree. The way that he's kind of gone about these contract negotiations on social media, it's weird. It's weird to me. And I think I'm still not used to this kind of era of social media and NFL players, because they do use kind of every little tool in their arsenal to gain leverage with the teams. And don't get me wrong, they're going up against, colossal enemy and a giant NFL team with thousands of lawyers probably that are trying to nickel and dime you in every way possible. But at the same time, you got to know when to kind of pick your battles, and I guess how to utilize them correctly. I saw he was also posting stuff, liking people's Instagram pictures that he's with, talking about if it's not $25 million a year, he doesn't want it. And he's on that too. So it's
even that I'm okay with.
I was just gonna say that's probably cool with me, because it's not him, like you said, posting like he's out to lunch with Mike McDaniel, asking for a realtor in Miami. You touched on those, and I thought it's funny because this reminded me of about a month or two ago when I tweeted out, and I saw you laughed at it. I said Deebo could tweet shit like Kyle and John pissing me off, man. Like somebody needs to take these dudes out, and then 5 minutes later he'll tweet, man, you need to chill. Not everything's about football, and it's like,
They're not the only John and Kyle I know. Guys.
Yeah, they're not the only John and Kyle in the world, guys. And it's like, this is like gaslighting 101. Like you can't expect the fan base to be smart enough to understand what you're saying, but yet dumb enough to believe you when you say it's not about what it is, what they believe it's about.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
No, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And like it's so strange, the dynamic. Like even right now, there's people in here saying that what I'm saying is wrong. This guy, you can click the next one. I saw it. I'm okay with people disagreeing with my takes, and I'm okay with people saying never listen. That stuff doesn't bother me. You know why? Because Jay didn't get disrespectful. It's okay to say I don't agree with your opinions, right? It's the racial slurs, the death threats, and all that stuff. That's when people cross the line. I don't need everybody to agree with everything I'm saying, but there's other examples of what I'm talking about. DeForest Buckner and his contract negotiations, right? Joe Staley pulls DeForest Buckner to the side, and what does he say? Hey, man, I'm handing the reins over to you. This is your team now. You're the veteran here. And he says, hey, bro, they told me I'm getting traded. You know what I'm saying? Buck didn't go out there and throw a hissy fit. He didn't say, oh, I'm looking for new people in Indy. I'm da-da-da-da-da. No, he left with grace. And I'm not even saying that Deebo's going to leave. I want to be very clear. I want Deebo here. I want Deebo to get paid. What I'm saying is you can't be upset that people are turning their backs on you when you make it look like you don't want to be here. I said this a couple weeks ago. Callie's going to get to it in the comments. You're going to see it. I said this a couple weeks ago on my Patreon. If Deebo's not careful with the stuff that he's posting on his social media, the fans are going to turn against him. I said as quickly as they'll rally for you, they will turn their backs on you as soon as they feel betrayed by you. And that's unfortunately the part of the negotiations that he's having to deal with right now.
Yep. Callie says, Mike called it. He said if Deebo wasn't careful, fans would turn on him. With that said, those idiots sending him death threats, racial slurs are not fans, do not represent the faithful.
Exactly.
Right. So let me ask you this, because we talked about this last week, Matt and I. He has, I don't want to say refused, but he's obviously not with Trey Lance and Brandon Ayuk getting this valuable work in. Does this bother you at all?
It does. And Wayne and I got into this on our last show. It didn't bother me until I heard the Matt Mayoko interview with him. And Matt Mayoko says, oh, the guys are going to be out in Southern California working out. Are you going? And he was like, man, I ain't going to Cali. Yeah. That's how he said it. And they were like, what? He was like, yeah, I work out in Miami. So my thing was, and Breezy tried to use the example of Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers didn't work out together in the offseason. I said, yeah, but they have 5 years of chemistry together.
Yeah.
This is a new quarterback coming in here. The report that I saw said that there were 6 wide receivers out there with Trey Lance and Nate Sudfeld. It's not just, so this is something that the team is trying to put together. Not a mandate. Obviously, it's not a mandate, right? They can't mandate anything, but the team can urge, they can suggest certain things happen. The team wanted these guys to get together and work with the wide receivers. I didn't hear anything about tight ends. I didn't say all pass catchers. There were no running backs there. There were 6 wide receivers there. Wayne and I looked it up. The team signed 2 wide receivers, and that made a total of 9 wide receivers on the roster. We signed 2, and Deebo wasn't there. Well, what's the rest that's there? 6. All other wide receivers were there. You don't want to build a chemistry with the guy that's going to be the quarterback of the team? It just doesn't make any sense to me, especially because I think the dynamic of Deebo's game is going to have to change when Trey Lance gets here. Jimmy's weakness, throwing outside the numbers and hesitant to throw the ball downfield. Yep. Deebo's weakness, he leads the team in drops every single season. No one talks about that. I'm not here to play anti-Deebo because that's not my thing. But Kyle saw one weakness and he saw the other weakness and he said, how can I keep these 2 guys on the field at the same time? Get him the ball closer to the line of scrimmage. Passes of 2 yards or shorter. Put him in the back as a running back. Put him in the backfield as a running back. Kyle went out of his way to form this offense around him and Jimmy. Jimmy's not here anymore. You got a guy who wants to throw the ball downfield. You got to go out there and get that rapport. And you got all training camp, right? So like I said, I understand he doesn't have to be there. It was the way he said, man, I ain't going out there to California. And Matt was like appalled, like not even appalled. He was like shocked by the reaction. It's the way he said it. And he's like, wait, what? What do you mean? Can I play that audio?
Yeah. If you have it.
Oh, hell yeah, I have that audio. I was trying to find it on my show when we were doing it live. And it's so crazy because the very next time that I hit play was where it was. And I didn't have it in time. Hold on. Let me see. Is it going to pick up where I left off?
At a time when the NFL draft is coming into focus around the
Sorry.
league, there seems to be something
No. You're good.
Because I play this thing at like 1.7 speed. I can't listen to Yoko talk normal. I feel like my eyes are like sliding off of my face. All right, I don't have the exact spot, so I don't want to.
You unfollow people on social. You felt it in front of. I mean, Deebo Samuel said on this podcast, Super Bowl week from LA, that he wasn't going to be working out in California. In fact, let's listen to what he had to say. It sounded a little bit suspicious.
He said, I'm trying to get him to come down to Miami as well.
Is he telling you, no, you come where I am?
He's just back and forth right now, but I ain't training no California.
Why is that?
That's just not what I'll train at.
So,
Yeah.
he's trying to get me to come out there where he is, and I'm trying to get him to come out to Miami. Cool. They're communicating. Deebo, you're a wide receiver. You don't dictate where everybody goes. I'm not saying Trey Lance can't go out there and work out with you. That would be great if they did that, right? But if 7, 8 people are already here, you want them to all say, oh, never mind, Deebo's here, we're going to go there. That's not how the NFL works. Never in the history of any franchise has a team been based around one wide receiver.
Yeah, it is reality. Weird. It reminds me of, and I really do, I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but I think it was Trent Williams and Deebo last offseason. Trent Williams is getting a haircut, Instagram Live. He connects with Deebo and they're talking. And he goes, hey, man, where you at? And he says where he is. And he goes, oh, you coming back to Cali? And Deebo goes, man, fuck Cali. I'm not going there anytime soon. And Trent was like, yo, like, the fans love you. Don't say that. What are you talking about? He goes, oh, no, it's nothing to do with the fans. Just I don't want to be in Cali if I don't have to.
Deebo said that?
Yeah.
He was talking to Trent?
He was talking to Trent Williams. Yeah. I remember it was right after Trent got his contract extension. Right. And they were FaceTime or Instagram Living together. And I remember I was like, there may be something here.
Maybe he has friends and I think maybe he has friends and family out there and he wants to spend the offseason there. These guys put in a lot of time. Right. And when you get a vacation, you don't want to be working on vacation. So I'm completely, I side with that. As a working person, I get that. I understand that. And I side with that mentality. But it's the way he's going about saying stuff. Yeah. It's listen, if you and I are arguing back and forth, say, hold on. Please don't cut me off. Let me finish my thought. That's one way to ask. The other way, hey, shut the fuck up. Let me finish talking.
Right.
Same exact message, 2 different deliveries, 2 different reactions. People are going to hear that and feel a way about the way you do it. And so he's got to keep that in mind, man. Like that's all I'm saying.
And I agree with you 100%. By the way, Callie says, Will Smith that like button, y'all. Exactly. Will Smith that like button, guys. Subscribe while you're here.
Oh my God.
TC, Deebo Samuel is being a diva, bro. I'm telling you, don't be surprised. Traded the Jets for pick number 4 and 10 in the first round. I don't think he's going to get traded. But Mike, let me ask you, would you classify all of his antics that we've seen? And I hate to say it like that, all of his antics like he's done. Him. Okay. That's not what I'm asking you, but would you classify that as him being a diva?
No, unfortunately, it's part of the game right now. It's 2022 negotiations. This is a new wave. Imagine if Deion Sanders had social media back then. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, imagine if Michael Irvin had social media. Unfortunately, this is the new way of negotiating. It's get the fans on your side, make it clear what you want publicly, so that way, when it doesn't happen, the fans know exactly why it didn't happen. I'm not going to call it a diva. I'm going to call it generation, whatever they are. Z? I don't know. I lost the count of millennials. Yeah. I lost count of the generations after X. Maybe it's X. I don't know. But wherever they are, that's that. Oh, shit. Punch the shit out of my microphone. That's where we are right now. Unfortunately, I'm not going to call him a diva. I think he's doing what his team is asking him to do.
And I think that's exactly what it is. I think it's this weird new era we're in where we do get behind the scenes look, whereas before we probably wouldn't, 10, 15 years ago when all these contract negotiations were going on, this stuff very well could have been happening. Similar stuff. Obviously, Instagram didn't exist, so you couldn't unfollow your team, but stuff like that could have been happening. Fans just weren't keen to it because we had no idea what happened. We didn't have this behind the scenes look into their everyday lives. They didn't have instant access to them on Instagram Live or Instagram Story, stuff like that. So maybe now it's just the new era of negotiation. Jay said, look, Deebo is doing with all these young players, what all these young players are doing, I assume. So let's not act like this is new. That's exactly what we're saying. It's not necessarily his fault. This is the era he's in of contract negotiation. It's just kind of the way it's gone about being done.
But so let me go back to Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers was doing the same thing,
That's
but
right.
different. But different. Aaron Rodgers didn't say, "Hey, I'm looking for a realtor in Denver." You know what I'm saying? Because Denver was one of the teams that they were dangling in front of him. He wasn't going out to lunch with the Denver head coach. First of all, isn't that tampering? Like, where's the flag on that? Just number one. Like, what is that? But I mean, anyway, it's very, very different. It's very different. It's one thing to negotiate. Aaron Rodgers is posting pictures, cropping himself out of being next to Cobb and Adams, right? And he removed himself from the middle. And the last hurrah. And I appreciate everything Green Bay has done for me. And I don't know where I'm going to be playing next year, but I'm going to be playing. It wasn't, I'm out of here. Hey, Miami, come and get me. It wasn't that. There's a difference. There's a difference. And so, you know, it is going to be public negotiations from here on out. I get it. I see it. But again, it's what you say and how you say it.
And that's exactly what it is. Terrence says, I just find it funny that Niners fans drag Kyler Murray for doing the same thing Deebo just did. When Deebo did it, the energy wasn't the same. I don't think it's quite to the level that Kyler did, though. We saw Kyler basically come out and ask for a trade. They had that weird statement his agent put out. The team is basically implying that he quit on them in the playoffs. I wouldn't quite say it's to that level, but there's similar antics, just maybe dialed back a little bit for Deebo. Could it get there? Yes. But I just don't think it has yet. Maybe Mike feels differently.
No, that Kyler situation was very, very strange.
It's still happening. It's still happening.
Yeah, like it's ugly. I mean, I don't know how it's going to play out. But again, to what I was saying about Deebo, Kyler doesn't have the resume yet. Now, like, granted, couple winning seasons, and you know that franchise. You have free agents wanting to go there now because they have a quarterback who's willing to throw the ball. But I don't know, man. I can't call it with that. I can't call it with that. But he's saying that Niner fans drag Kyler for doing the same thing that Deebo did. When Deebo did it, the energy wasn't the same. When Deebo started, the energy wasn't the same. But now, Niner fans that were dragging Kyler, Cardinals fans that were dragging Kyler, are now dragging Deebo. That's what's happening now. Yeah. So it is coming back. It's coming full circle. Like that. That's what's happening.
He says, I'm just talking about the deleting of the team photos. Yeah, to that extent, yeah. It is funny.
Okay.
When he cleared his Instagram, I saw Ben Albright getting into it with Brad Graham of the SF Niners. I don't know if you saw that when that happened.
I didn't.
Ben Albright was very, very insistent on the fact that it was nothing more than a new marketing firm that was put in place by Kyler Murray. And Brad was basically saying, what type of marketing firm would basically turn your own fan base against you? Like, it's a weird move.
Right.
And it got a little personal. It was a weird interaction, but I just thought it was funny because a couple of months later, it looks like Brad was right. And it kind of was something more to that, deletion of all these team photos.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. Both can be true. A marketing firm has your best interest in your dollar amount at heart. Both can be accurate. That's the other thing too. It's not pick one argument and stick with it. Right. So listen to what we're saying, for example, right? We want Deebo here. We want Deebo to get as much money as possible. We don't like how he's going about negotiating. Both can be true.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and usually both are true. You know what I'm saying? I messed up by saying trade Deebo. Yes, I would do it, but my bad, because I thought that's what you were asking me, and I just jumped out there on that ledge. But I'll let it go.
All right, we got a super chat from Fernando. Hey, Zach and Mike, you think Deebo is worth a $30 million contract? If he wants that, will it happen? Also, do you think the secondary will be better? $30 million per year, obviously. I'd say no.
No.
It's tough. Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
Well, that's kind of why I said I would trade him, right? And it's not against Deebo. I want Deebo here. I can't. I'm going to keep saying that because people are going to take what I'm saying and take it out of context, right? But I'm going to be completely honest with you. Deebo's stock is never going to be higher than what it is right now, and I sincerely doubt he duplicates the production he had this season again. So I say trade him while it's high. This is, as far as a business decision, you do it right now. He's looking like he's disgruntled. He wants out, right? I'm not paying a wide receiver $30 million. If Jimmy was still on this team, he'd be making more than Jimmy. Like that's insane to me. That is crazy to me. And it's not sustainable because you see what the Packers did. They paid Aaron and hey, Devontae, see you later, buddy. Like you can't do both. You can't do all of that. We have the highest paid Fred Warner linebacker, well, second highest now. We have one of the highest paid defensive tackles in Eric Armstead. We have the highest paid left tackle. We have the highest paid fullback. We have the highest paid tight end. There's only so many times you can have the highest paid at a position on one team. Deebo, you're not getting $30 million. It's not happening. Now, again, I respect the whole, if it's not 25, then I don't want it because that's not the highest paid. That would put him around third or fourth as far as annual salary. So I'm not mad at that. I don't know how sustainable it is. The language and all that stuff would make a difference. I mean, I'm sure they can make it work, but it's just 30 million, absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm saying no to that. Bosa's coming up, obviously in 2 years, roughly 3 tops. Trey Lance is going to be coming up. These are huge contracts the 49ers are going to have to account for, record-setting contracts. And like you said, how many times can you set the record at the position at each different position? It can only happen so many times before you break the bank. And this is what I didn't understand with fans as well, talking about, man, John and Parag always do this. They never pay these players. And I'm like, what? How is this a belief out there by 49ers fans? Like you said, Fred, Trent, George, Eric Armstead, basically the only key free agent the 49ers did not sign was DeForest Buckner, and they could not afford to do so. Outside of that, they've set the market for each of these key free agents and their respective positions.
And people forget, like they go after their guys. Like, Kyle Juszczyk was a free agent acquisition. You look at what they did with Jerick McKinnon. People forget what his contract was like, but he was a top 5 paid running back at the time. Like they pay these guys. Don't ever let somebody tell you that the Niners don't pay their guys. They do. If they want them, they pay them. Yep. So, Deebo just happened to be DeForest just happened to be a casualty of, the cap and future plans. It was something that they couldn't swing. But to answer the rest of his questions, I do think the secondary improves this year. Because I think the defensive line improves this year. I really, really do. I think Bosa is going to go crazy because he's going to get some help on the opposite side of him. So I do think the secondary improves. When the defensive line is going to be clicking and firing the way that it can, and you go back, I'm not even saying it's going to be D Ford, but he's posting nothing but football clips right now. D Ford is either looking for a new team or he's planning on coming back to the Niners. And if we can get just 7 or 8 games out of this guy, and you got other guys like Ebukam and what's the other dude's name?
They got Hyder back now. They just signed Kimoko Ture.
Yes, the guy from Jersey. Yeah. Oh my! Listen, they're loading up on that defensive line. Yeah. On the edge in particular, they're going to have a very, very healthy rotation, and the league is going to pay. The league is going to suffer at the hands of the 49ers defensive line. I have full faith in that. And by the way, last year was DeMeco Ryan's first year as a defensive coordinator, and look how good this team was. He's only going to get better. It's going to be scary, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It's tough losing DJ Jones, Arden Key, but at the same time, they brought in some cool guys that I'm really excited about. These are the guys that the 49ers, within the last 3 to 4 years, have been able to kind of turn into reclamation projects and have success at. I mean, last year, Arden Key, nobody wanted to touch him with the 10-foot pole. 49ers get him in here. He has 6.5 sacks, 6 sacks, something like that.
5.5, 6 hits.
Yeah, exactly. And then he comes out and he's somewhat of a, hot commodity for a low risk, high reward type player. Mm-hmm. I could definitely see that. I mean, Kerry Hyder 2 seasons ago, a lot of fans, including myself, were singing his names, like crazy each and every week. And then he goes to Seattle, essentially robs money from them, doesn't do anything, and then comes back. I'm excited. I think he could still have something in the tank too.
Yeah, he comes back on the low, and it's no coincidence his 2 best years were both under our defensive line coach in Chris Kocurek. So it's not a coincidence. He's coming back where he knows he can play and perform well. Yep. This defensive line, I'm telling you guys, is going to be freaking scary. Omenihu was the other guy. I keep hearing people mention Omenihu. I don't see it, but doesn't mean it's not there.
I thought he was solid towards the end of last year. He got better. He got better.
Yes,
He improved with
yes.
time. I just, he's like a fine wine, but I don't think that they
Okay.
should be expecting 6, 7, 8 sacks out of the guy. If he could chip in 2 to 3, solid trade. I mean, what do they trade from, a 6th-round pick or something like that? I mean,
Right.
it's like a Jordan Willis type to me. Before I move on though, Itchy 95, Mike.
Yeah, sorry.
Jordan Willis, exactly. Yeah, Mike. If you would trade Deebo, what would you want for him?
Deebo's going to get a first plus, no matter who it is, no matter what team it is. Draft day doesn't matter. He's gonna get at least a first and more. You might be able to get a first and a second for a guy like Deebo Samuel, because he showed. Oh, this is gonna sound like Jimmy hate. He showed that you can have a average quarterback and get solid production out of him. He's clearly a very good weapon that any team would want on their roster, especially if you have a struggling quarterback. You want to get some production. You want to build a quarterback's confidence. Deebo is the type of guy that you want. The thing is, I keep hearing Kyle talking about Trey Lance. He's saying Trey Lance is plenty confident. He's not looking over his shoulder. He's not nervous, and he's ready to get in there and go. So I just don't know how much of a fit it's going to be. I don't think that we see the same type of offense, even if Deebo is here. And again, I do hope that he's here. I don't know if we can get 2 firsts for him. I wouldn't rule it out, but look at what Tyreek Hill got. Look at what the Chiefs got for Tyreek. I don't think they got 2 firsts. They got a bunch of picks, but I don't think it was 2 firsts. So I don't know if we're going to get that for Deebo, because again, people are going to say Deebo only did it 1 year. We can't give you that when Tyreek Hill is a 1,200+ yard guy every single season. You know what I'm saying? So Deebo did it once, and he's not quite to the Tyreek Hill level.
So when you talked about a few minutes ago how his stock could be at its highest, he will probably never have a season like he just had. I talked about this within the last 1 or 2 episodes. I don't remember when exactly, but is it tough to want to pay a player based off of what they just did and not what you anticipate them to continue to do? Because I can't imagine the 49ers just sitting there thinking, yeah, you just had like an 1,800 yard season. You'll probably have that again next year, maybe 100, 200 yards off. Like you said, they're going to have a completely different style of offense. He's not going to have, 800 yards rushing or whatever the hell he had.
Right.
It is a wild stat that he had, and I think it unfortunately will be the outlier when we're looking back in a couple of years. How do you take that in and kind of grade that when you're looking forward to giving him this contract extension?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. The thing is, you pay a player for partially what they've done, mostly how you project them going forward in your system. That's how contracts are done for extensions, not free agency. There's a big, big difference. In free agency, you're going to overpay because you just simply have to outbid people. You're going to overpay in free agency. When it comes to an extension, this is what you've done. Thank you. Here's X amount of dollars. And this is what we expect you to do. Here's X amount of dollars for that. If the 49ers, now I want to be clear here, right? I don't think it's impossible for Deebo to be another 1,200 yard receiver. It's the rushing yards that are going to come down. He had more rushing touchdowns than receiving touchdowns. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen this year. I'm sorry, it's not. Every time he lines up in the backfield, teams are going to be like, yeah, okay, all right, we know what's coming. You know what I'm saying? So could that be a tool that the 49ers use? Let them stack the box when Deebo's in the back and then take a shot downfield? Absolutely. But that means that they're anticipating that, and his production is still going to go down. So I don't think you can pay him based off of that and expecting that same production going forward. You can't do it.
Yeah, I hear you, and I agree 100%. It's tough because he did have a hell of a year, but that's likely the best year statistically he will ever have. Do the 49ers need this type of year from him moving forward to have success? I don't think so. I don't, and I think a large part of that is because of the style of their new quarterback. And if all pans out well, hopefully you can stretch the field a little bit. You can throw outside the numbers, just like you said. And we're not needing these 1 to 2 yard passes, beyond and behind the line of scrimmage to get the ball into your playmaker's hands because you don't trust your quarterback to throw the ball 5 to 7 yards down the field. But I agree. It's mostly what you envision them to do in the future. We got a super chat from Sean. Brandon Ayuk sold out for the team, grew up in Rockland, where the Niners training camp used to be. I don't want to watch a player that dislikes where he plays. there is that weird energy that happens where a player is not completely bought into their environment and their team. I never got that feeling from Deebo Samuel prior to this offseason, but tell me if I'm wrong. Deebo Samuel, to me, I'm getting the vibe that he's too cool. You know what I mean? Like he's too cool for you, too cool for your friends. It's too cool to take things seriously almost. Like I just come in, I do my thing. I don't even want to put words to paper or exactly how I do it. I just do it and that's it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I said it in the middle of the season. There was a red flag, and the guys told me I was overreacting, right? And this is, listen, guys. If you guys watch nothing but Niners, if you guys have known me, I look at everything in the pressers, body language, the way how quickly people react, and things like that. They're if they're looking up to the right or if they're looking up to the left, and I know that was backwards on camera, but I did it the right way. I promise you guys. I look at all of those things, and the one thing that I can't help but remember is they asked him, "Hey, do you study?" What receiver was it? They were like, "Do you study film of this guy?" It was someone on the Rams, I believe. Was it
Cooper Kupp?
They were like, "Do you study film of Cooper Kupp to work that into the way that you play receiver?" He was like, "No, I don't study receivers." And they were like, "What? Why?" He was like, "Because I'm not them, and they can't do what I do."
That's right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, "Guys, this is a red flag." They were like, "Nah, you're looking into things too much. You're looking into things too much." But with that being said, I don't think that Deebo's too cool, right? Confidence can be mistaken as arrogance. It's a very, very thin line. Again, it's about the delivery of it, right? Imagine this. Deebo didn't say any of the stuff that he's saying, and it's a big game, and he goes to the microphone and says, "Hey, we've been preparing, we're going to be ready," right? That's confidence, right? I don't study other people because they can't do what I do. That's arrogance. That's not confidence. You get what I'm saying? Like, and so I don't know that he's too cool for school, and I don't know if he looks down on people. And I do know that he's not afraid to speak his mind. If you put a microphone in front of him, don't ask a question you don't really want the answer to. And I personally have an appreciation for that. I like someone who's going to tell you how it is. That's why I like, as much as I hated Seattle, I love watching Marshawn Lynch talk. Yeah. I would watch the pressers for them just because I was so entertained with the guy who, "Hey, I don't want to be here. I had nothing to say. Hey, did you guys have popcorn today?" He's asking the interview because he don't want to answer their questions. I'm just here so I don't get fined, right? People are fed up with putting a microphone in front of me so you can get a sound bite and a sound clip. And it's going to take some growing and maturity from Deebo. And Deebo, he'll get there. He'll get there. I don't want you guys to think that I'm against this guy at all, because that's not the case. But he should be confident in his ability. He's probably the best offensive weapon in the NFL. I'm not going to lie to you guys. He's probably the best offensive weapon in the NFL because of how much of a variety of things he can do. But at the same time, I said it a couple minutes ago, this dude had an offense catered around his restrictions and ability. So it's both of them, his negatives and his positives, and the quarterback's abilities. And Kyle made the best of it. Look, I think about this. This is something else. God damn it. I wish that episode didn't get deleted or the audio went through. This is something else I said. Kyle Shanahan has made a best player on offense everywhere he's gone. Yep. He made Matt Ryan an MVP. He's never sniffed that conversation again. Not once. Not before, not after. Kyle goes, boom, I got an MVP quarterback. And our worst year, well, one of our worst years here, he turns George Kittle into a household name, a 5th-round pick, best tight end in the NFL. Kyle did that. And now look at what he's doing for Deebo. Even if you don't include Deebo, ignore Deebo, right? 7 teams for Raheem Mostert, and everybody wanted him all of a sudden. I'm out here in Philly, and Philly fans go, "Oh, man, we had this guy on our roster. We let him go. I can't believe we fucking did that. Look at the talent this guy has." Kyle makes stars on offense. That has to be part of the negotiations. I'm sorry, but it has to be included in what's happening out here. We can't sit here and act like Kyle can't do it with somebody else, because we've seen him do it with everybody else, with a different position everywhere. Julio Jones, right? That man is that man. You know what I'm saying? Kyle got him in his prime. Yep. I'm not going to say that Kyle made Julio, but Kyle definitely made Matt Ryan that MVP. Kyle definitely made George Kittle the guy that everyone said is the best tight end in the NFL. And Kyle made people want Raheem Mostert not as a special teams gunner, as an actual running back in the NFL. That goes a long way. We can't continue to ignore that. So Deebo plus Kyle is a good combination. I'm excited to see who Kyle does it with next year now. That's what I want. I want to see the next piece that he's going to make blow up. Imagine that. You have Deebo on the field, you have Kittle on the field, and Kyle's thinking, the guy that I'm going to make famous this year is this guy. I don't know who it's going to be, but I want to see it. That's fun. That makes football something to watch. And the cool thing about it is it doesn't all happen on week 1. It doesn't all happen in week 3. You're going to step back and be like, holy shit, this guy, Brandon Ayuk, really just had a 1,400-yard season, and it was the quietest one out there ever. You know what I'm saying? Like these are things that can absolutely happen. It can absolutely happen. So I just think that we have to keep that in mind, man. We have to keep that in mind.
Well said. There's a couple comments here I'm going to get back to, but Callie says, Mike is a body language reader / attorney. Mike is the Johnny Cochran of the faithful.
People told me I was going crazy with it, so I stopped talking about those things on the actual Nothing But Niners platform. I said I was going to start doing, you know what, Callie? My guy, I'm going to start doing presser breakdowns again, but I'm going to do it on the Patreon. My guy, Callie, man.
Bro, that would be so fun. I've watched so many of these body language whatever. I don't even know the word I'm saying right now. Analytics, breaking down body language. And I find it so interesting. The little looks to the side, shakiness, specifically with criminals. I find these interrogations really interesting.
Not a plug. They're not paying us to say this, but there's this show on Netflix called I Am a Murderer. And it's all people who have been convicted of capital murder, sentenced to death row, or on death row, or life in prison. And they're interviewing these guys. I am so addicted to this show. Like, it is, me and my wife were sitting there watching the show, and within each one is like 45 minutes to an hour long. And this woman is sitting there talking about what happened and why she killed her husband. I was like, babe, she's lying. She was like, what? She was like, you don't think she was really getting abused? I said, no, maybe she was getting abused. I believe that. And then later on, they reveal like the truth, and her own daughter was like, that's not what happened. So I was like, just from like 3 minutes in, listening to this woman talk, I was like, she's lying. She is lying about what happened. And I have so much fun. Like, I listen to murder mysteries. There's another podcast, not sports related. It's called Case File. And they like take old cases and they talk about them and everything. You get an insight on the people and everything, and you have to figure out who did it before the end of the episode. It's so much fun. It's so much fun, man. I mean, I'm into that kind of stuff. So yeah, call me Cochran, baby. Just, don't have his money.
Yeah, for real. There's a channel on YouTube. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's huge. They have, 10 million subscribers, something wild like that. JCIS, Criminal Psychology. Have you heard of them?
I heard of it and I forgot the name of it, so I don't know. I'll send
you a link. Some of their videos have like 200 million views, and they're like an hour plus, bro. And this guy goes into criminal interrogation tapes, and he breaks down. The most famous one he has is of Nicholas Cruz of the Stoneman Douglas in Florida shooting, and he's basically breaking down what it looks like you're faking having mental psychosis. And the commentating. I'll send you a link.
Yeah, please do. I love this kind of stuff, man. It gets me excited. I love that kind of stuff.
Also, Bryce, I love Mr. Bond. I watch that dude all the time. He just came out with the podcast. That's a little more supernatural, though. That's not as much true crimey, but he's got good content too. So a couple questions here that I skipped over. We'll get back to Mark Cisneros, OG Big Mike. Will Kyle's offense this season be the closest play selection-wise to his Atlanta days?
Yes, I do think so. But it's definitely going to have more to it. We have a quarterback who's a lot bit more physically gifted than Matt Ryan. And so what you're going to see here is a true number one wide receiver emerge with a guy like Trey Lance, someone that, and it might not be a wide receiver. Let me rephrase that. You're going to see a true number one pass catcher emerge from this offense this year, right? I got a lot of flack for saying that Deebo wasn't even the best wide receiver on the 49ers, and people killed me for that. I said, when it comes to running routes and ability, Deebo's not that guy. It's Brandon Ayuk. The stats won't show that because he wasn't getting the targets. He was in the doghouse for half the year, right? But if you step back and watch, right? Someone told me, go and watch Larry Fitzgerald. The way he starts his routes, the stems, they all look exactly the same. You have no idea what route he's going to run. And then when you do that, when you actually go and you watch how Larry Fitzgerald was running his routes, he wasn't the fastest guy. You know what I'm saying? He was big, but he wasn't the fastest guy. And it was so clean and so clear, so crisp that receivers didn't know which way he was going to break, And so, not receivers, corners didn't know which way he was going to break. So they're hesitant. And when he catches them flat-footed, boom, he's gone. You can't go flat-footed against a wide receiver. You can't, right? Watch Brandon Ayuk. I'm not saying that he's on Larry Fitzgerald level, so please don't crucify me for saying that. Don't put that on me. But he is clearly, in my opinion, he is clearly the best wide receiver on this roster. So I do think that we see some similarities with what we saw over there in Atlanta. What we have to do is get a burner, though. They had this guy, what was the little guy's name over there? Fast as hell, the receiver they had at that year. And Julio's fast too, don't get me wrong. This guy was
Harry Douglas, maybe?
No, it wasn't Douglas. Oh my God, I can't remember his name. Someone will type it in there. I'm sure someone knows exactly who I'm talking about. He had a very small role in the offense, but when Kyle needed someone to take a safety and make him bite just a couple of yards in his direction so he can get something else on the other side, he took advantage of it. And I think we see things like that happen. You will see wrinkles of what Kyle was doing over in Atlanta. Absolutely.
I like that. Charles Hayes II said Kyle did it with Matt Schaub too. That's a great point. Matt Schaub had a career year, made people think he was a legit quarterback.
Yes, sir.
With Kyle Shanahan as the OC. And yeah, I don't get this coming from my guy Jay here. Deebo's the only player that loves the game, and he's still that guy on the sideline crying after a loss in the NFC Championship game. The only player that loves the game. We're being a little hyperbolic here. I think so.
This could be just Jay like wanting to disagree with what I'm saying, and again, I'm okay with that. But yeah, Bosa. Yeah, I was gonna say Bosa cried. Staley cried in the locker room after the Super Bowl. Listen, these guys aren't out there doing it if they don't love the game. They're not out there doing it if they don't love the game. So, yeah.
Reaper Cobra. I think Deebo is going to be traded because of what Michael Irvin said when he talked to him in the Super Bowl. What did he say in the Super Bowl? What did I miss?
Yeah, Reaper, type that. I want to know. See, here I go. I'm learning more and more stuff, man.
Fernando, hey, Mike, aren't you worried about Mike McGlinchey?
Nope. Mike McGlinchey was having a phenomenal year. I know people hated everything Mike McGlinchey did the year before, but prior to the injury, Mike McGlinchey looked so much better. I saw the videos of him working out. Now, I will say, when he posted that old picture of him standing between those two people and he looked like a big-ass string bean, I was a little nervous, but then he went to his social medias and he posted his workouts and everything, and you can clearly see the weight is back on him. He said he's 310 or something like that now, his weight, as opposed to the 275, 285 in that picture that was posted. McGlinchey, it's you guys Gage, that's who it was, Russell Gage. You guys have to go back and watch that video if you haven't seen it. It's out there. I'm not worried about Mike McGlinchey. And I actually did we pick up his 5th-year option?
Yes,
we did. This is going to be his 5th year right here, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we picked it up because that means that the Niners also saw the growth. Mike McGlinchey, it's so weird, man. He would have an A+ game, and in the biggest moment, at the worst possible time, he would whiff, and that's all fans would remember. And I'm not mad at that because what have you done for me lately, right? We needed you to hold tight on this 3rd and long, and you let a sack happen. I'm not mad or upset at people coming down hard on Mike McGlinchey. I completely understand it, but we have to watch the full game. They don't pay him for just that last play, and he's got to get better on the last play. He's got to get better on the biggest play. He does. I'm not shooting him any kind of bail here, but he's better than what the narrative suggests, and he's also healthier and bigger than what that picture showed.
Yeah. Let's see. Callie, Ayuk is best pure receiver on our roster, but Deebo is the most impactful player on our offense.
Absolutely. He is.
Well said.
Deebo is the best offensive weapon on our offense right now.
Yeah,
absolutely. I 100% agree with this.
Yep. Hunk Fan, as long as it's not Crime Junkie, I can't stand that one co-host on it. Laugh my ass off. She bugs. I've listened to it. My girl really likes it, but we agree. I assume you're talking about Britt, and she's just. It's like Airhead to the. What bugs me? Okay, well, just a quick tangent, real quick. you have a true crime podcast that's bringing in probably hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's like one of the biggest ones, right? I think it was number one on Apple for like most of last year. You can't tell me that you go into these recordings knowing absolutely nothing, and to the point where you're like, oh wow, oh no, what happened? Oh, it's like, and then at the end, give me a credit of who wrote the script. So clearly, you know a little bit, and you're reading off a script. I don't know. It bugs me.
No, let me tell you, from I have done this nothing but Niners, 49ers Gab. I had Students of the Game. I had Shit Just Got Real or SJG. I've done a lot of podcasts, and I can tell you that people will sit down for a regular show. It'll be 3, 4, 5 people, and only one person has everything there, and everyone's just reacting to what that person's saying. It is very possible, even with the script. Even with the script, it is absolutely possible. Unfortunately, people are like, wait, what? Like, yeah, I sent you guys what we were going to be discussing. You have nothing to bring to the table, right? It happens. It does happen. So, and it doesn't matter how popular it is either. Like, it happens.
Yeah, it's wild. Old school 415. Oh yeah. Also, EJ Hunter and Joey said Taylor Gabriel.
Russell Gage was the recent guy. Kyle wasn't. I don't think Kyle was. It was Taylor Gabriel. That's 100% who it was. Sorry, shout out to Russell Gage, but it was Taylor Gabriel.
If I remember correctly, he was also with him in Cleveland, right? And then he went to Atlanta when he kind of went to Atlanta.
That's who it was. Yeah. That's the guy.
Old school 4-5 player. Ayuk will have a breakout season as Trey's deep threat assassin. We need Christian Watson add to the mix also. I'm going to put it here right now. There is absolutely no way he gets out of the first round.
You're crazy.
I don't think he does. I think this is one of those rare occasions where we see these off-season workouts, combines, etc., actually propel a player forward. We all talk about it like it happens all the time. Rarely draft Twitter and draft executives aren't as aligned. I think they're aligned on this guy. I think he goes to Green Bay.
Hold on. I hear my wife yelling at my dog. I just want to make sure he's not acting up. I'm going to speak a little low. I'll move closer to the microphone because I want to hear in case she calls me or something. I hope you're wrong. I sincerely hope you're wrong. Since we drafted Trey Lance, I went back and watched the film on him, and I kept seeing number one, just blocking well, getting short passes, going crazy, long passes down the field, winning jump balls and all that stuff, size and everything. I hope you're wrong. I really do. And she's still yelling at him. Our biggest hope here is I'm going to go put the dog in the kennel. Our biggest hope here is that the small school market helps the 49ers in this situation. That's our biggest thing. Give me literally
take your time.
Seconds.
Take
I'll
your time.
Be right back.
No worries. I agree. I think this is something that I hope I'm wrong, but for some reason, I just think Christian Watson, his hype, his stock has raised so quickly and dramatically. He does not make it past Green. I mean, just think of Green Bay. It's like the perfect need for our fit. Excuse me. They need a receiver, big, strong, fast. Christian Watson's there. I think it fits perfectly. Hung Fat, great show, guys. Please do them more frequently. Hey, man, whenever Mike is willing to come on, we love having him. He's a fantastic guest. Fernando, hey, Zach, what can you say about Jimmy hanging out with that girl at the Hooters? Did you see the picture? I don't know if I saw specifically him hanging out with somebody at Hooters. I did see Jimmy with a few women, and if I remember correctly, he was shirtless. I forget who tweeted out the comparison to Trey Lance working out with teammates and Jimmy being shirtless with women, saying, they're not the same. Jimmy can't really do anything right now, so I don't think it's a fair comparison. Right. But it is interesting that, I don't know, make of it what you will, I guess. He's out there having a good time.
Can I also try to use your platform to get some faithful off of Jimmy's back concerning the surgery?
Of course.
Really quick. So I didn't like it. Excuse me. A lot of people were like, "Oh, he screwed the team by getting the surgery now," and da 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 da. I can tell you guys that 90% of the NFL players have vacations booked for the moment that their season is over. The moment their season is over, they know they're not going to the Pro Bowl or whatever. I'm going on vacation. I'm going to enjoy this vacation. Jimmy didn't want to be on vacation in a sling, guys. I don't think it had anything to do with trying to screw the team over, trying to get an injury guarantee or any of that, because he also knows that there was offset language in his contract. Jimmy wants to play. He wants to make more than $7.5 million. His agent wants him to make more than $7.5 million. So, I'm not worried about Jimmy. And I don't think he tried to screw the team. Did it screw the team? Yeah, a little bit. Kyle and Lynch both went to the podium and said straight up, like, we had trade talks and everything, but it made teams hesitant to pull the trigger following the surgery. So it's not a knock on him. He's going to go out there. He's an attractive man. He's a young man, and as far as I know, he's not committed to anybody. Let him go out there and do his thing. Get it wet, wrap up.
Fernando had asked me what I thought about him hanging out. I hadn't seen this picture until now, and this is from 49ers News and Opinions on Twitter. Look, this could be as simple as she's a fan. She asked him for a picture. Why was he at a Hooters? I don't know. The wings.
They have good wings.
They have good food. They have good food.
And their crab legs. Let me tell you guys, I had never had crab legs before I went to Hooters. Ruined my life. Absolutely ruined my life. I love crab legs. Shout out to Hooters. I was I would walk into Hooters and the girls would be like, "Oh, can you sit in my section?" Because I also tip well. Someone who worked in the service industry and relied on tips and everything, I tip very well. I'll go out and it'll be a $60 meal and I'm giving $100. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how I am. Like I've always and I hated it, but I've always tipped well. There's nothing wrong with this guy going out. These guys have lives outside of football. Right. And Jimmy, you have to remember, like Zach said, he can't throw. Even if he wanted to, he can't. So we can't look for reasons to keep hating on this guy. The Niners have made it clear that he's not the guy going forward. Kyle said, what did he say? Last year, Trey Lance wasn't in a position or wasn't able to beat out Jimmy. This year, he has a better shot at that. Kyle made it very clear. So it's not Jimmy's team. Let him go out and enjoy himself. Let him, take pictures with fans and everything and keep doing Subway commercials that are terrible.
Reaper Cobra, he said to get his money and to get the most money out of the team, and he said to stay with the Niners, and he looked at him the wrong way, like Deebo did not like that. This is in regards to what Michael Irvin told Deebo Samuel.
He said to get okay, so Irvin told Samuel, get your money, get the most money out of the team, and he said to stay. But Irvin did say stay with the 49ers.
And then Deebo gave him a weird look, apparently.
See, God, body language. I gotta see it.
Yeah,
hey, man. Listen, I'm 49ers Mike _NFL on Twitter. Shoot me a DM with that. I might not see it, but at me and say, Mike, I sent it to you, because if I don't follow you on Twitter already, it was right there.
Go ahead.
No, my handle was right there. Yeah, right there. There it is. That's my handle right there. Shoot me a DM and then at me and say, Mike, I got it, because I don't look at my DM requests. It's a lot in there, and I'm sorry, guys. I don't see it if you don't give me a heads up. So.
All right, we're going to be wrapping things up here shortly, guys. Truth is NDSU colors match Packers colors too. Exactly. It all lines up. Charles Hayes is second. Even if Christian Watson goes second round, we don't pick at the top of the second round anyway, so we still probably miss out on him.
Well, that's the thing. There's probably 7 or 8 wide receivers graded higher than Christian Watson before the combine. Yes, before the combine, right? How many wide receivers are going to go before there? You know what I'm saying? How many wide receivers are going to go in those first 65 picks? I don't know.
4 or 5 maybe.
Right. So if only 4 or 5 go, I think we can get them, man. Let me ask you this question really quick. Eric Crocker, friend of the show, friend of our shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
Buddy of ours. He had this really, really high grade on DK Metcalf, and he went at the end of the second, if I'm not mistaken. Do you think Metcalf lived up to the hype that Crocker put on him?
That's tough. No.
Right. That's my point. And that's why I think a guy like Christian Watson can still fall. The big, fast guy doesn't always get drafted right away. Now, unfortunately, when they start watching the film on him, he's good. So he might go higher. I'm hoping we get him. If we can get him, that would be phenomenal, man. Oh, man, that would be great. I don't think the Niners take safety with their first pick, just so you guys know.
Yeah. I think the main difference, though, is that DK, it was like trying to convince yourself that you're seeing something good because he looks so good off the field. We saw that picture where he was sculpted and ripped like a damn Greek statue.
Yeah, this guy was made out of clay, for sure.
But then there was also the argument of like, his 3-cone and his combine times. So you were kind of like battling it out. I think with Christian Watson, everything lines up. You're not there. Yeah, there's nothing where you're like, the only negative maybe is it was a small school. And that's kind of been defeated in the last 5 years because we've seen players from small schools still come in and wreck the league. So it's not even really that much of an issue. Callie says, I wouldn't go to Hooters for the chicken wings.
Well, yeah, okay, me too. I hate their shorts at Hooters, but I do want to say, if you go to Hooters and you get the wings, order them naked. The naked wings at Hooters are way better than the heavily breaded. The breaded stuff, man, tore my stomach up.
Interesting. No, you're good, Fernando. No need to apologize. Sorry, Zach. Just want to know your thoughts about it. Always send your thoughts. Always send your questions. We love it, man. Rich Hidalgo says fans are too emotional. That is an evergreen statement. Evergreen statement. Fans will never not be too emotional.
I try to like shake the moniker of the 40 whiners. I hate when people say it like outside of the fan base, but goddamn, I get it. Like I get it. I understand it.
I had a Rams fan commenting in our Rams-Niners post-game matchup recap from the playoffs, talking crap. And he was going in and laughing at us like, oh, I can't believe you guys are being this, like talking crap about the Rams, like you guys are trash. And I'm like, first of all, we're talking about 3 months ago. Like, who has the time? If my team won the Super Bowl, I'm not going back to another team's fans' YouTube account.
Right.
And it's just weird. It's just weird for them to call Niners fans whiners.
They have to pound their chest because we've owned them for the last 3 seasons in a row.
Yeah.
And so because of that, they were like, oh, we finally got you guys. Haha. Like they have to, you got to let them have it. You know what I'm saying? That's what they have. That's all we have a Don Burr. Have you ever had Don Burr?
Yeah. A million times. Times.
So that's what I'm saying. Fans of other teams are going to jump in and they're going to try to get theirs off when they can. So I like that though. That's healthy though. Cause they're not disrespectful. They come in, they talk their shit about their team, but they are never disrespectful. So I like it.
Fernando asked, Mike, do you still think the Niners take a D lineman?
That was what I thought was going to be the top pick. And if Christian Watson is gone and their top center isn't on the board, then yes, I think they go defensive lineman first. Yes. And I know fans don't want to hear that because that's like, but you got to look at who our GM is. You got to look at the philosophy of the Niners team. This is another reason I think it could be a wide receiver though. Whether it's Christian Watson or not, it could be a wide receiver. And this is why I'm going to say that. The defense didn't disappoint last year. Unfortunately, it was Kyle. It was Kyle in the offense that really, really let us down. You go back to the games that we lost. You go back to the postseason. The offense was so stagnant. The offense. Do you guys realize in that Packers game that the defense was responsible for 13 points? Now, I know you're going to say, wait, 13 points. What are you talking about, Mike? Look at the score. Listen to this. There was the blocked field goal.
Yeah.
That's a 3-point swing right there. Right there. Then you have the block punt for a touchdown. All right, that's special teams. Fine. All right, so let me change it. The special
defense special teams is usually as one.
My point is, it wasn't the offense. It was not the offense. So Kyle has to hold up his end of the deal. It starts with getting a better quarterback. Check that box off now. And it starts with the quarterback, and then it's also going to be about having a complementary assault of weapons. You know what I'm saying? And it's time for us to get that. Yeah. You blocked.
I did. He was getting a little disrespectful with it. I had to block them. I don't block too many people here.
When he starts drinking, well, I'm assuming he's drinking. I'm hoping he was drinking. You know what I'm saying? Because he's been a little flagrant sometimes. But
yeah. Truth. What was the name? Ready to go. He's pretty obnoxious Rams fan. No, it was. I can tell you right now. Actually, it was Jerry Cantrell.
I've seen that name. I know
the guy was a moron. With all due respect, Jerry, if you're watching this video as well, I told him,
you moron.
Yeah, I told him, while you're here, you might as well subscribe, bro. Mm-hmm. You're here watching another team's content. Yeah. Hit like, hit subscribe. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Mike said Jimmy was the reason we didn't make it to the Super Bowl. I heard it on Nothing But Niners. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm not running away from that take either.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. The offense, he couldn't deliver. The offense was so stagnant. We were terrible. Yeah. The offense was terrible. You hold that high. Look at the teams we played and look at what they averaged throughout the entire season. We held 3 of the top 5 scoring teams in the NFL to a total of 47 points. Did you hear what I just said? We held 3 of the top 5 scoring teams in the NFL to 47 points. We barely won one game, and we lost the other one. Come on, bro. Come on, man. No, I'm sorry. Jimmy and Kyle didn't do enough.
Unfortunately, it really does seem like that was the case. We're going to be wrapping things up here shortly, guys. Richard Algo says, I meant in the way that they are harassing and threatening players that want to get paid while they can. They don't play forever. Yeah, this is in regards to the fans are too emotional. Mike, I had titled the stream as well. Trey Lance is again reassured that he's the starting quarterback.
Yes.
Do you think anything outside of what the 49ers paid to get him and all of the noise regarding Jimmy Garoppolo needs to be said to reassure Trey Lance that he is the starting quarterback this year?
I think the team has made it very clear to him. And nothing was more evident. I mentioned it about 20 minutes ago. Kyle, there was that at the owners meeting or whatever it was where Kyle did that outdoor interview. Talk about body language. Whew. Anyway, he said that Trey Lance knows exactly what the plan is, and he's ready and he's prepared, and we are prepared. And Kyle also said, we do believe Trey Lance is ready, and that's why we tried to trade Jimmy. He didn't beat around the bush. You can't say it any plainer. This is Trey Lance's team. I don't think he's second guessing it at all. That's why he's putting in the work that he's putting in right now, instead of being on vacation in that Hooters. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Fernando, I'm excited. 11 more days till draft day. Hope to see you guys. We will definitely be live, even though the 49ers don't have a first round pick. I know.
Are you going live on day one?
I think we are. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we are. Are you?
I've been torn. I don't know, man. So here's like I don't know. So I have a hotel suite like we did last year, right? Tony and I were in the same building. StreamYard has this brand new feature where you can do multiple angles from the same thing. So like if you see, you didn't even know that, did you? If you hook up another camera and you hit the share button, you can put two angles on at the same time. So we have this big draft board we're going to have and everything. Yeah, baby. So we're going to have this big draft board and everything. We're going to be out there doing our thing. I might go live on the first day of the draft, but I'm not going to care what's happening. The Niners don't have enough. They don't have enough to trade up. I'm not going to be excited about anything. I might go live just to see if Christian Watson gets taken before the Niners. I mean, in the first round. Like that's it. I made a bet with Tony that he doesn't get taken in the first round.
Hey, we'll see. If you end up not going live, you want to hop on, you're more than welcome to hop on with us. Definitely.
I actually might take you up on that offer.
Let's count down. Hey, Mike, make sure to get your pizza. What type of pizza do you guys like?
So I've been doing this new diet. I've been working out and everything and trying to get in shape because we have this, my wife and I never got a honeymoon after we got married. We got married the cheap way. We were looking to buy a house. So we said, no big wedding. Let's go down to the courthouse. That also meant no honeymoon. Well, we're going to Cancun in November to December, like the end of November, beginning of December. We're going out there, and I am trying to walk around as naked as possible on the beaches when I get down there. So pizza right now is not at the top of my list because I'm trying to stay away from dairy products. However, one of my favorite pizzas is a tomato pie. I don't know if you guys have that kind of stuff in Cali. I went out there, and your pizza was like thicker than this box here. Bro, I ordered a pizza out there and they gave it to me with a fork and a knife. Like I've never seen anything like that before. Talk about like deep dish, like holy smokes. Tomato pie though, out here in Jersey and Pennsylvania where I am, it's the thinnest of crust. It's a lot of sauce on there and they just put a couple of drops of whatever. I don't know if it's mozzarella or what, but it's just a couple of drops of cheese on it. That I love that. That is absolutely my favorite type of pizza.
Yeah, likewise with Mike. I've had pizza 3 times since July.
Yeah.
And I was a big boy. I was having pizza probably once every other week.
Yeah.
And mind you, I live with my fiance. She doesn't like pizza. She can't have pizza. So I would literally get pizza just for me. But I've lost about 60 pounds since July. I've tried to cut it out. I know you can still eat it, but I have zero self-control. So I would just eat the whole damn pizza. Yeah. But I've had it. Actually, I had it yesterday. I went to my nephew's 2nd birthday party. Happy birthday, Elijah.
There you go.
At my brother's house, and they had some cheese pizza. I got that. I had it in Thanksgiving. What's a weird Thanksgiving meal? I know it's what my mom had though. And then my girl's little brother had pizza for his birthday party in November as well. So those are 3 times I've had pizza in the last 8 months. But I just, hey man, a standard round table pepperoni pizza. That's my shit right there.
I am a lactose intolerant mofo, but I'm telling you, back in my day, I would throw down. Y'all just have to deal with the gas when I'm done. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Like,
do you use
I'll sit
lactate?
and- no, that shit didn't work for me, bro. I love cereal. I haven't had a bowl of cereal in God knows how long. We tried almond milk. We tried lactate.
You tried
I
oat
still,
milk?
I haven't tried oat.
That's the one thing that we drink because we can't have milk either. Get Oatly oat milk. It's the
Yeah.
most similar thing that I'll send you a picture of it. It's the most similar thing to normal milk that I've ever
Okay.
had.
I will have to check that out
Because I can't do
man,
soy, I can't do almond, I can't do any of that shit.
all
Oat
that stuff
milk,
had the same
pretty
effect
similar.
on me. All of it had the same effect
Ooh.
on me. And when I took lactate pills, here's the thing, right? I wasn't. This sounds nasty. I wasn't gassy, but I felt bloated still.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't get gassy, but it was like my body was holding everything in. I didn't like that feeling either. So, I tried almond milk. It tastes great. Almond milk is incredible as far as taste, but oh man, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, even Melissa's backing me up here on oat milk. I'll send you a picture of it.
Okay.
Guys, I think that's gonna do it. I gotta go have some dinner, get ready for another crappy week at work. Mike, any final words here?
No, man. Guys, listen, man. If you are here from Nothing But Niners, and this is your first time here with us at 49ers Hive, please, please, please subscribe. These guys are putting in work. You get great content from Zach and Matt all the time. And I don't like announcing stuff beforehand, but we're working on some stuff. This is one of my favorite channels on as far as 49ers content. So we're working on some stuff. So make sure you guys subscribe. If you enjoyed this show, you're going to have a lot more like this coming your way. So make sure you guys are subscribed and just be patient. I'm going to remind everybody as often as I can, you don't win a Super Bowl during free agency. You don't win it during the draft, and you don't win it week 1. So be patient, guys. It's okay to overreact. We have a show called Overreactions immediately following games. But at a certain point, once you get it off your chest, you got to reel it back in, step back, and look for room to improve. So those are my final thoughts.
I appreciate the kind words. And yeah, 24-hour rule, that's kind of what we got to go by. Good or bad, use it the same way. We got a last second super chat from my guy Sean. Yeah, Mike, oat milk is exactly like dairy, except just different. Just saying, be blessed. Yeah, it's good,
Happy
man.
Easter, Sean. Happy Easter, Sean. That's
Happy
my guy
Easter.
right there.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate all the super chats. Hope you all have hope you had a fantastic Easter. Thank you very much. Also, you can now find our audio. I'll get to you real quick. We can now find our audio strictly on the BSPN network for Bay Sports Podcasting Network. I've linked them in the description. You can also find them on Twitter. All of our audio will be exclusively on there. So go shout them out. Go check them out as well.
I got a question, a minute tops.
Go ahead.
Do you think it's weird that the Niners haven't tweeted out anything at all concerning Deebo? Like, they're watching this guy burn in the public eye. Do you think that they haven't said anything on purpose? Like, this is helping us in negotiations, or?
I think they do think it's helping them, but I also think that that's just kind of their MO. Remember when Pay George Kittle, that hashtag took off? They didn't do anything regarding acknowledging it. And then after they paid him, they put out that social media video acknowledging the fact that they knew what was happening the whole time. Okay. So they could probably see it behind the scenes, but they're probably like, hey, it's not affecting us negatively. It might affect him negatively, and maybe that's the little extra pressure that they feel might urge Deebo to sign. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I like that. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I felt like if they wanted to, they could get some of these fans off of his back. And I think it's interesting that they're choosing not to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, guys. Real quick, shout out to this video sponsor. We only got one sponsor for you tonight because of the lack of time. BetUS. Go check out BetUS. The link in the description. They have a ton of different promos going on right now. You got to take advantage of. Specifically, I'm going to shout out the MLB home run promo where you get a $25 casino chip for every home run your batter hits. Again, the link is in the description. Go sign up with BetUS. Support our sponsors because they support us. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Huge thank you to Mike again for joining us. Have a great night, everybody, and have a fantastic week. We will see you next week.
One.